Welcome back to DeFi Tactics. Remember, this is not financial advice. Do not make any financial decisions based on my word alone. Always do your own research. With that said, today we're going to discuss what are Y assets and how they differ from F assets. Additionally, we're going to discuss all the Y assets that are being integrated on the Flare Finance platform. Let's get to it. So in order to understand what are Y assets, we need to understand what are F assets and the distinction between the two. F assets are a trustless representation of the underlying asset on the Flare network, whereas Y assets are a semi-trustless representation of an asset on the Flare Finance ecosystem. As you can see here, I've got the FXRP white paper from the Flare Networks team. The FXRP system is a set of financial mechanisms encoded in smart contracts that enable XRP holders or other assets for F assets to create and redeem a one-to-one representation of the XRP token on the Flare network called FXRP or F Litecoin or FXLM. In order to achieve this, the system relies on agents participating in the system, putting up Spark as collateral and earning fees in return. As you can see here, it's a trustless representation. In order to create a representation of XRP or another F asset on Flare in a trustless and decentralized manner, we first make the assumption that the loss of a unit of XRP to a designated beneficiary can be fully rectified by awarding said beneficiary an alternative asset that allows them to replace the lost unit of XRP with no additional financial burden. So what we can gather from this is that an F asset is on the base Flare network layer 1. This is different from Y assets, as Y assets are specific to Flare Finance, or a layer 2. So how can we get different Y assets or different assets on other chains into the Flare Finance ecosystem? We do this by utilizing Flare Wrap. This allows us to take other assets from other chains and wrap them onto the Flare Finance ecosystem, so that way we can use that value in the different protocols, such as Flare X, Flare Farm, Flare Mutual, Flare Loans, etc. Flare Wrap is the ecosystem's cross-chain asset bridge. It will allow tokens hosted on other chains to be utilized on the Flare network that would otherwise be inaccessible via the F asset minting platform. It also serves as the creation point for the cross-USD basketed stablecoin. Flare Wrap, in its basic form, bridges these assets and allows immediate usage on our product suite. So Y assets are wrapped versions of the underlying asset, whereas F assets are a representation on the Flare network that is backed by an amount of collateral in Spark tokens. Additionally, F assets earn the general rewards and the Litecoin specific rewards pool, meaning F assets get daily rewards paid out from an initial supply of Spark token designated for these pools. Y assets do not get this daily reward from these general and Litecoin pools. So again, F assets get daily minting rewards just for minting an F asset. The Y asset does not get any additional rewards from the F asset general rewards pools. If you're getting anything out of this video, I really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button and left me a comment in the comment section below. So highlighting the Flare Finance white paper to see how we can get these other assets into Y assets, we can realize that we need to use the Flare Wrap module. Flare Wrap is a non-custodial cross-chain asset bridge, as we discussed earlier. Asset wrapping begins with governance and holders deciding which networks and tokens they would like supported on Flare Wrap. Wrapped assets are placed on a non-custodial smart contract along with other holders' assets of the same kind. Upon wrapping from the outside network, a bridge relay sends information to on-chain smart contracts to mint new assets, Y assets, to the holder's provided receiving address. So again, this is the process we go through in order to obtain Y assets. One thing I do want to highlight is the fee structure. So wrapping or converting, say, XDC to YXDC has a variable fee determined by governance. Initially, this fee will be set at between 0.1% and 0.5% depending on the amount being wrapped. So, from $100,000 or less, the fee will be 0.5% per transaction. As you can see, there's a scaling structure, so as you go up, the fee drops up to over $5 million per transaction. We'll have a fee of 0.1%. I'd like to highlight the join button down below next to the subscribe button. This is a way for you to join and become a member to this channel. There will be some additional little perks and side things, whatever you want to call them. Additionally, I set up a Patreon. I'll have the Patreon link listed in the description of this video. So now getting to the good stuff of what assets we can actually wrap and bring on to the Flare Finance ecosystem. Well, as you can see here, we're on the ftso.com.au website. In this, they have a blog titled Initial 21 Supported Assets Finalized. Flare Finance offers 6 financial products, allowing users of the Flare network to act as their own yield-generating bank and exchange without giving up custody or control of their assets to a centralized party. In preparation for the launch of Flare Network, they've finalized the 20 assets that will be supported across all 6 products: Flare X, Flare Wrap, Flare Farm, Flare Mine, Flare Loans, and Flare Mutual. So let's dive right into the assets that are going to be supported. We've got ADA or Cardano, Algo, Algorand, BNB. We've got PancakeSwap, Celsius Network, Casino Coin, Dogecoin, Dogcoin, Doggycoin, whatever coin, Ethereum, Spark, Gala, Gitcoin, Litecoin, Pack Protocol, Shiba Token, Telcoin, USDC, Tether, Zinfin or XDC, Stellar or XLM, and XRP. These Y assets can then be utilized on the platform in order to, say, provide collateral in Flare Loans or take out insurance on Flare Mutual. The possibilities are limitless. So I'd like to highlight this awesome infographic that was created by Jacko, who's a moderator in the Flare Finance Discord. As you can see, it shows a breakdown for the main Flare network of the different assets that will be supported in Y assets, cross-chain stablecoins, and the F assets. So on the left-hand side, you can see in the Flare network blue circle, we've got the 5 F assets there is going to be. So F Algo, F Doge, FXLM, FXRP, and F Litecoin. Then there's this green circle, and in this green circle is where all these different assets come together. We've got all of our wrapped Y assets in the middle here. In this green circle, we can see the Flare Finance ecosystem and all of the assets that are going to be incorporated into that system. So these are our wrapped assets here. These are our native tokens up here. So your Y Flare and Y Fin, and you've got your F assets on the left-hand side. Then you've got the stablecoins on the left-hand side that'll be brought over. Now this is the breakdown provided by Jacko, the moderator in the Flare Finance Discord, for the Songbird XFi assets. As you can see, there's less wrapped X assets in this scenario. So you've got less X assets in the Songbird Finance platform. As you can see down here, X assets dependent on availability and testing on Flare Wrap. The initial assets will be XDC, CSC, PAC, and Legacy. Remainder post mainnet launch. So these other X assets or Y assets for the mainnet will be integrated at a later date, once the testing for these 4 assets goes well. So that about wraps it up for this video. Again, I just wanted to show you the differences between Y assets and F assets and explain which assets will be supported for the wrapping system or the Y asset system. Don't forget to click that join button and become a member of this channel. Also check out the Patreon. As always, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. We'll catch you next time on DeFi Tactics. F assets are the, so that way this will allow you, Flare Wrap is a non-custodial cross-chain asset bridge. It allows all the way up to 5